Okay, 12.4, preparing payroll checks. We have two objectives. You need to be able to justify the use of a payroll checking account, and you need to be able to prepare employee payroll checks. A voucher check is a detachable check stub or voucher that contains detailed information about the cash payment. So this is an example of a voucher check. So up at the top, here we have information about what that check is for. So the payee, we're paying First American Bank. The description, December 15th, payroll, and then the amount. So here what we're doing is we're writing a payment for the total amount of payroll. Not just one employee, but we're writing the total amount. And then here the check is written out for that total amount. Remember, we always want to prepare our payroll check stub first before we actually write the check. I guess going back to this too, the reason that we do this is we want to keep this into a separate account. Notice that it's listed here as payroll account. So this helps us so that there's no errors in our payroll. So what we do is we write one lump sum check for all of our payroll into a separate payroll account. And then the next step is from that account, we will write individual checks to our employees. And so that's what we're doing now. Here we see John, we're writing a check to John Butler, and we're going to have all of the information up at the top about his check. Now, those of you that get actual paychecks, might be kind of similar to what yours looks like, where you're going to have your regular hours, your overtime hours, you're going to have your total earnings, and then you're going to be able to see all of your deductions as well. Now, YTD means year to date. Okay, so here are year-to-date total earnings for John. So that means since the beginning of the year, this is how much he has earned. We see his current total deductions. We see his year-to-date deductions. We also see his totals, and then his net pay, and then here's his year-to-date net pay as well. Okay? And then we wrote the check out for the current net pay. Even if you don't get a physical check, more than likely you get some type of document. You might not actually get a physical document, but you might get an online document that will list all of this information. It's always good to double check this information to make sure that whoever is calculating your payroll is doing it correctly. You want to make sure that they have your correct amount of hours, your rate, your gross pay, and your deductions are all right. Okay, a direct deposit. So this might be for those of you that get direct deposit. This is the payment of an employee's net pay that is electronically transferred into their account. So instead of writing them a check, we just put that deposited into their account. We might still have something like this where it looks like a check, but notice it's written across here. This is not a check. It's just a confirmation of what was deposited. All right, number 1, why does 3 Green have a separate checking account for payroll checks? Number 1, a separate checking account is used to help protect and control payroll payments. And the second reason is payroll checks require space to record earnings and deduction information. Number 2, what is the source of the information that is recorded on each employee's payroll check voucher? We're going to get this information from the payroll register, employee earnings record, and prior pay period paycheck stub. Number 3, how do payroll procedures differ for employees who request direct deposit of their pay? Each employee's net pay is going to be deposited into his or her bank account. Individual checks are not written and they do not have to be distributed. However, each direct deposit employee will receive a printed or electronic statement of their earnings and deductions that support the amount deposited. So as the employer, we still have to give them some type of statement, if that be a printed or an electronic statement. But it makes it a lot easier if our employees do direct deposit, because then we don't have to spend the time of writing out all of those individual checks. Okay, you can now move on to your 12-4 work together video.